Do you know why a marriage, which is a simple sunnah, has been made so complicated in today's society? Have you ever thought about how unnecessary customs and false traditions have made our lives difficult? What wisdom did the great companion Abdur Rahman bin Auf employ in his marriage? And why did the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, say that if it were permissible to prostrate before anyone other than Allah, he would have commanded the wife to prostrate before her husband? These questions are enough to stir our hearts, but their answers can change your life. So, do you want to know how our societal behaviors have drifted away from the true spirit of Islam? Watch this video until the end, and you will discover the truths that will change your perspective. Hazrat Talik bin Ali radiallahu anhu narrates that the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, said that when a man calls his wife to fulfill his need, it is obligatory for her to come even if she is at the oven. The meaning is that even if a woman is busy baking bread, she should not refuse when her husband calls her to fulfill his need. Marriage as a halal path for sexual satisfaction. The purpose of these commandments is, in fact, that Allah has placed a natural sexual desire and urge within every man and woman. To fulfill this natural desire and urge, Allah has prescribed a halal path, the path of marriage. Fulfilling this need in the relationship between husband and wife is of utmost importance. Therefore, all halal paths have been made available so that no man or woman should even think of satisfying this desire through haram means. The wife should find satisfaction in her husband, and the husband in his wife, so that there is no need to look elsewhere. Marriage is easy. For this reason, Allah has made the bond of marriage very easy. All that is required is that the man and woman are present, along with two witnesses. If the man and woman exchange consent in the presence of these witnesses, the marriage is done. There is no necessity to even deliver a sermon, though it is sunnah to do so. Similarly, there is no need to involve a judge or anyone else to officiate the marriage. If someone else is asked to officiate, it is sunnah, but without it, if the man and woman themselves exchange consent in the presence of two witnesses, where one says, "I have married you," and the other responds, "I accept," then the marriage is concluded. There is no need to go to the mosque or involve a third party to make the halal path as easy as possible. A blessed marriage. On the other hand, the emphasis is that the marriage process and the ceremony should be carried out with simplicity and ease. There is no need for any rituals, conditions, or elaborate ceremonies. The Prophet Muhammad PBUH said that when children reach adulthood, you should think about their marriage, so that they do not develop the desire or need to resort to haram. A hadith mentions that the most blessed marriage is the one in which there is the most ease and simplicity. The more a marriage is publicized and the more pomp and show are involved, the less the blessings it will carry. The marriage of Abdur Rahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu. Abdur Rahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu was a distinguished companion and one of the 10 blessed companions who were given the glad tidings of paradise by the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, during their lifetime. Once, when Abdur Rahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu attended a gathering of the Prophet, PBUH, the Prophet, PBUH, noticed a yellow stain on his shirt. The Prophet, PBUH, asked him about the yellow stain on his shirt. He replied, "O Messenger of Allah, I have married a woman, and the stain is from the perfume I wore at the time of the marriage. The Prophet, PBUH, then said, May Allah bless it for you, but give a wedding banquet even if it is with a single sheep. It is noteworthy that Abdur Rahman bin Auf, radiallahu anhu, was one of the closest companions of the Prophet, PBUH, but he did not invite the Prophet, PBUH, to his wedding or even mention it. When the Prophet, PBUH, inquired about the perfume, only then did he inform him of his marriage. And upon hearing this, the Prophet, PBUH, did not complain that he was not invited, because the Sharia places no restrictions or conditions on the marriage ceremony. Marriage has been made difficult today. Jabir bin Abdullah, radiallahu anhu, once came to the Prophet, PBUH, and said, O Messenger of Allah, I have married a woman. Jabir, radiallahu anhu, was one of the close companions of the Prophet, PBUH, and met with him regularly, but he did not extend an invitation to the marriage. This was common practice during the Prophet's time, that no special arrangements were made for marriages. There was no uproar about the wedding preparations for months, and it was not considered necessary for the marriage to be valid. The Sharia made marriage easy, but we have made it difficult with our incorrect customs. The result is evident today. Girls remain unmarried at home, not because they lack the desire for marriage, but because they lack the funds to provide dowry or hold lavish ceremonies. For these reasons, people are compelled to resort to haram means to gather money for these practices. These customs were adopted from Hindus and Christians, and we have abandoned the Sunnah of the Prophet, PBUH. As a result, halal paths are now closed. Fulfilling desires through halal means requires wealth, but haram means are easily accessible. Television is constantly on at home, showing movies that provoke and inflame lustful desires. In the marketplace, it is difficult to find refuge for the eyes, and the result is widespread immorality, indecency, shamelessness, and immodesty. These customs have brought our society to the brink of destruction. Dowry, a curse in contemporary society. In this matter, the greatest responsibility falls on those who are well off and belong to affluent families. Salvation from this curse cannot be achieved until those who are well off and wealthy take action to ensure that marriages and weddings in their families are conducted with simplicity, and these wrong customs are abolished. A poor person might think that maintaining his dignity and status requires him to conform to these practices, otherwise, he cannot manage. If a dowry is not given to the girl, in-laws will taunt her. Today, dowry has become an essential part of the marriage. Providing household items, which was the husband's obligation, is now seen as the responsibility of the wife's father. It is as if the father must give away his daughter, along with millions of rupees, and furnish the house to make another's home prosper. There is no basis for this in Sharia. It is fine if a father wants to give something to his daughter, but he should do so with simplicity. The wealthy and well-off families have the greatest responsibility in this regard. Until they adopt simplicity and start a movement for it, it will be difficult to escape this curse. May Allah instill this understanding in our hearts through His mercy. Ameen. Prostration to the husband. Hazrat Abu Hurairah, radiallahu anhu, narrated that the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, said, If I were to command anyone to prostrate to someone other than Allah, I would have commanded the woman to prostrate to her husband. However, since it is not permissible to prostrate to anyone other than Allah, I do not give such a command. But if it were permissible in this world for one person to prostrate to another, I would have commanded the woman to prostrate to her husband. It is a relationship of hearts. In the journey of life where a man and woman live together, Allah has made the man the leader and guardian. This leadership is different from other forms of leadership, which are temporary and transient. Today, a person might be a leader, ruler, or even a king, but his leadership is only for a specific time. Yesterday, he was a leader or ruler, but today he might be in prison. Yesterday, he was a king, but today, no one cares about him. Therefore, worldly leadership and government come and go. But the relationship between husband and wife is a lifelong bond, a companionship that lasts every moment. The leadership that a man gains through this relationship lasts until death, or as long as the marriage bond is intact. Therefore, this leadership is different from general leadership. In other forms of leadership, the relationship between the ruler and the ruled, or the leader and the people, is purely a matter of regulation, law, and formality. But the relationship between husband and wife is not just a matter of regulation, law, or mere formality. It is a bond of hearts, a relationship that affects the entire life. For this reason, the Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, said that if he were to command anyone to prostrate to someone else, he would have commanded the woman to prostrate to her husband because he is the leader of her lifelong journey.